Hey guys, Sam here, and yep, we're in the month of love now, which means that this review is going to be love-centered. So for any of you that are in a relationship, stick around and enjoy. And for some of you that don't have somebody, but you still enjoy the holiday anyway, stick around. But if you're one of those people that hates Valentine's Day just because you don't have someone in your life, well, I understand that you feel alone in the world, and there may not be someone that's willing to give you a chance. But if that's the reason why you're trying to ruin everyone else's Valentine's Day, leave them alone! Let them have their happiness! Just because you don't have the happiness doesn't mean you have to ruin it for others! Okay, now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about a show that I've actually never covered before, even on my past channel, and that is Talking Tom and Friends.
You serious?
Yep, that's right. The same company that made the Talking Tom ad, which basically had a cat on the screen, and whatever it said was what you said to it, that company, Outfit 7, made an animated series that not only got on YouTube, but it also got on Boomerang UK, was even on Netflix for a while, and now it's airing on this British-Irish TV channel called Pop. Wow, I've never heard of a more simplistic way to call a channel since... Yeah, let's just get back to this. Anyway, Talking Tom and Friends is actually kind of a hit show for YouTube and even for the channels it's on. Right now it has about 5 seasons, over 150 something episodes, and it's been around since 2015, and it seems like there might be a 6th season on the way. And honestly, it's not a bad show. It does have its good jokes, it does have some drama, it does also have some decent animation, some really entertaining stories, and the voice cast is actually pretty good. And the main cast in particular are actually some kind of big names. You have Maria Bamford and James Adomian, who are stand-up comedians, and the latter, James, being someone that actually used to be on the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson because of his great George W. Bush impression. You also have YouTuber Lisa Schwartz voicing Angela. You have Colin Hanks, the son of Tom Hanks, voicing Tom himself, and the one who voices Hank, the dog, is Tom Kenny. Yep, that's right, the Tom Kenny, the voice of Ice King, Spyro, SpongeBob, and that's just to name a few. And like with all those other roles, he does a good job here as well. And that's kinda what you can also say about the entire show. It is a good job. It's not a landmark, it's not one of the greatest TV shows ever, it definitely is not, you know, in the realms of Owl House and Avatar in terms of quality, but it still is pretty decent. And hey, Common Sense Media gave this show 3 out of 5 stars. And Hungry Danger, on the other hand, got 2. So yeah, how about that? Common Sense Media was smart again. Good. Even though I personally think that Common Sense Media should have given The Adventures of Kid Danger just 1 star. Or 0 if they could. But unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world. So anyway, for this episode, I'm going to be reviewing a Season 4 episode, the 15th episode from that season, called Happy Anniversary, which, yes, it is love-centered, and this one involves the main couple in the show, Tom and Angela. So, what are my thoughts on this couple? I like it. It's not fantastic, it's not one of the greatest couples ever, but I think it's sweet. They do have their nice moments, they do bounce off each other pretty well, and honestly, based on this episode, they actually are pretty in tune with each other when it comes to planning. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll understand once I finish this review. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. And before I get started, you know the drill by now. Summary first, thoughts after. Good, good. Let's get started. So the episode starts with some of the main characters playing soccer while also singing opera. That's an interesting activity. It's like if I was painting Vincent van Gogh artwork and I was listening to the deftones. Yeah, that's a mix that don't really go together well, but it's interesting. Anyway, we find out that the reasoning for this is because Angela wanted to actually see some kind of opera soon, but Tom wanted to also see the soccer game, so they decided to compromise with each other. And the way they compromised was getting tickets to both the soccer game and the opera. But Ben points out that that's not really a compromise at all. Oh, and here's something else. Hank brings up that, yes, he really does think that they're a great couple, but he also brings up that they're getting very close to this big major relationship moment. Tom asks him what's he talking about, and Hank says, oh, your 1-year anniversary's coming up, and Tom starts freaking out, because, well, he forgot the anniversary. Yep, it's that old cliche, but hold on, stay with me. Now Tom is desperate to find an anniversary gift for Angela. So Ben asks him, are there any clues or hints that she gave you that could tell you about what she would want? Anything at all? And we get to Tom's flashbacks, and it's clear that Angela wants these limited edition opera glasses, and Tom barely listens to her. And then once the flashbacks are over, he says, oh, I think she mentioned these opera glasses one time. That's just funny. I'm sorry. That's just too relatable. So Tom tries to find those opera glasses online, but finds out they're sold out. But there actually is one pair that is left in town. So Tom thinks that, oh, this will be a piece of cake. Nobody's really going to get any opera glasses. Well, turns out that there are a lot of people that want it. So many people that it actually forms a huge line right out to the fucking desert. Yeah, remember that line in SpongeBob where they were waiting for Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy to find something at the Krusty Krab? If you thought that line is long, this just beat it out by a mile. No pun intended. So Tom and the rest of the customers try to get those glasses as fast as they can, which results in yelling, screaming, running into poles, some people I think getting trampled, and unfortunately the glasses end up on some high place. But thankfully Tom jumps over everybody and grabs them. But unfortunately he falls off the ladder, drops the glasses, and it's picked up by his next door neighbor and landlord. So he goes over to his house and begs him to give him the glasses. So the landlord suggests that maybe they should make a trade. The glasses for Tom's soccer tickets. And it turns out that the landlord's girlfriend is actually a big soccer fanatic. So Tom agrees to give him the tickets for the glasses. So eventually, the big anniversary dinner date comes up, and it seems to be going pretty well. Tom gives Angela the limited edition opera glasses, and Angela actually gives Tom the soccer jersey that Tom always wanted. And it turns out that both of them had the exact same kind of day. Angela, like Tom, almost forgot the anniversary. She also searched all over town for that soccer jersey. She also happened to get the last one that was available, but it was picked up by the girlfriend of the landlord, and just like Tom, she had to make a deal with that woman in order to get the jersey in exchange for the opera tickets. So yeah, both of them actually get angry at each other for giving up the thing that they wanted just to make each other happy. How many times can you say that a couple got into an argument just over who wants to make each other happy? That's... Again, like I said, they are really in tune with each other. So both of them are really not happy about it. And at one point, they even try to get to the landlord, but the landlord says, nope, no take-backs. And now it seems like this anniversary is just ruined. But thankfully, Ginger pops in and shows Tom a podcast, which actually is advertising a certain contest that's coming up. You see, there's a pasta eating contest at the park, and the winner of that contest could get either the opera tickets or the soccer tickets. So Tom says, okay, I'm game, I'm gonna go do it. So Tom enters the contest, starts scarfing down as much pasta as he can, and actually ends up being the winner of his own table. Turns out he actually has to beat the other person that was at the other table. And you'll never guess who that other person is. That's right, it's Angela. Turns out that the both of them had the exact same plan. But again, both of them fight over whose happiness should they sacrifice. Should Angela sacrifice her happiness for Tom's, or should Tom sacrifice his happiness for Angela? Well, it all comes down to who wins the final show-off. So each of them get a big plate of pasta, they start scarfing down as much as they can before the timer runs out, and eventually, by the end, both of them were able to complete their dishes. And it ended in a tie, which meant that they could actually get the soccer tickets and the opera tickets. So they technically did win, but because of how much pasta they scarfed down, they aren't able to walk at all. So they actually give away the tickets. They give Ben and this germ friend. Yeah, there was a few episodes where this germ guy was an enemy. It turns out he even later became a friend. It's a long story. Anyway, so they get the opera tickets, and Hank and Ginger get the soccer tickets. And the episode ends with Tom and Angela spending their anniversary at home cuddling. The end. So that's the episode. What are my thoughts? Well, I'll start off with the drawbacks first. First off, yes, it can be generic, it can be cliched, and there may be some people that can already know where the story's gonna go. But, drawbacks aside, here's the biggest reason why I actually like this episode. It's creative with its cliches. It's creative with its generic premise, and it actually manages to be entertaining. Even if you know where the story's gonna go, you still can't help but watch it a little bit. And hell, it does still have some great imagination. I mean, who would have thought you would actually see a big long line for opera glasses? Who would have thought that these people would actually trample each other just to get these glasses? And not only that, who would have thought that it would end with a pasta eating contest? I mean, I didn't think that was where the episode was gonna go, but I'm glad that I actually didn't know. I'm glad that I was able to still follow along, and I'm glad I was entertained all the way through. The voice acting is still fun, the comedy's actually pretty decent. In fact, I have my two favorite jokes. One is, of course, Tom's memory about Angela dropping those hints, and number two, at the pasta eating contest, there's somebody that tries to make it look like he's eating all of them by stuffing it in his shirt. And at first it seems like he actually got away with it, but the pasta falls out of his shirt, he gets caught, and the one that runs the contest gives him this big, "I'm so disappointed in you" face. And it's just really hilarious. And like I said before, Tom and Angela are so in tune and so entertaining in this episode that it's the biggest reason why I love it. It's not a perfect episode by any means. Just in the same way like this couple, it ain't perfect. But even some of the greatest couples ever have never actually been perfect. I mean, take a look at Robin and Starfire or Aang and Katara as examples. Yeah, people love these couples. I love them. I put them as my number 1 and number 2 best cartoon ships ever. But even I know that they're not perfect in really every other way. I mean, maybe I did say at one point that Aang and Katara's relationship was perfect, but it wasn't. They had their misunderstandings, they had their fights, they had those cliched stuff that happens in a lot of relationships, and the same thing what happened to Robin and Starfire, and it happened... all that happens in a lot of relationships, and I know that some people can be sick of them, and if you're sick of them, I definitely understand. But you also should understand why a lot of animated shows use these cliches. You wanna know why they use them? Because it happens all the fucking time. All the fucking time. A lot of couples have these really pointless fights, all these misunderstandings. And you wanna know why these are there? Because those are tests to see just how stable the relationship is. If a relationship crumbles over one little fight, then it probably wasn't that strong of a relationship at all. But if a couple is able to go through a lot of different arguments and fights and still manage to come out of it unscathed, and they were able to say, "I'm sorry, let's try and, compromise and be better in the future," it shows just how good the relationship is. And I do believe that's the same with Tom and Angela's relationship. Again, not perfect by any means. But it definitely is relatable, and again, just like a lot of couples, it's entertaining, and it's sweet too. And I really did like the ending, where they actually were able to just, they weren't able to go to the soccer game or the opera, but they still were able to be together and cuddle on the couch. And honestly, if I had to choose whether to go to the opera, go to the soccer game, or this, I probably would pick cuddling on the couch. I mean, yeah, the opera can be entertaining, but again, you won't be able to talk to your partner as much as you would like to. I mean, the opera is where you're supposed to be silent and listen to the singer. And the soccer game, you probably could talk to your partner more, but of course you'll be hearing a lot of this in the background. Hey, I was wondering, look, you gotta be fucking kidding me, shush! Yeah, I would pick cuddling on the couch any day. And I also just gotta say it, the best part of this episode really was that pasta eating contest. And a big reason for that is because I love pasta. Part of my family's Italian, so we have a lot of Italian foods, like pizza and pasta. My favorite is pasta with Alfredo, and I probably would eat some of the pasta that was in this episode. But would I participate in a pasta eating contest? No, I would not. I'm not Mark Chestnut. I'm not someone that could just scarf down a whole bunch of pasta and wieners like that in one sitting. I can't. Not with a plate that big. Definitely not. And yes, I know, I said Mark Chestnut and wieners, haha. But point is, I love pasta, but not enough to actually participate in a contest like this. But if someone actually did get me involved in this, and I did end up with a stomachache afterwards, like Angela and Tom, I'd probably kill them. Well, once I'm actually able to walk again. So, in conclusion, this episode was fun. The comedy was decent, the animation was pretty good, I did actually want to see where it was going. It did have some predictability and cliches, but they were able to be creative and imaginative with those cliches. And once again, I just love how similar Tom and Angela are when it comes to planning. They both happen to do the exact same thing because they care about each other that much. In fact, I think this scene pretty much shows you why I love this couple.
I've got to beat my boyfriend so I can sacrifice my happiness for his.
Typical Angela, you are going down.
Such a happy couple.
Yes, it's the motherball coinky dings, but it's pretty funny and kind of sweet too. So yeah, it definitely is a nice episode from a nice show. Final score for this one, 8 out of 10. I do recommend it. Don't expect this to be like one of the greatest episodes or one of the greatest shows or anything. Just take it how it is. A simple, entertaining show that has a lot of stuff that could be very fun to watch. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And also, the link to the episode I just reviewed is in the description as well. And also, let me know in the comments below what you thought of this episode. Please, let me know what your honest thoughts are. Don't just be saying first. Don't be saying any of that stupid crap. Actually, give me your opinion, please. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and as always, my name is Sam, and good night, everybody.